Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
Now, here's your host, Ed Cohen.
We are awaiting the arrival of Doreen Cumberford, who's coming to us from Mexico, from San Miguel, the Allende, which is Central Highlands historic community. And we're going to hear all about it in just a few minutes.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome again.
Thank you, Ed. How are you?
That's great. Nice to see you.
Yeah. I was hoping to be outside in the garden with bougainvillea and the whole Mexican effect.
Yeah.
However, the gardener's here.
Making noise, no doubt.
Making noise, splashing water, walking back and forth. And it's a big place. Is this enough light or more light?
No, you're great. It looks great.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was on the site, and we are recording at this moment.
Oh, we are.
Yeah. So I was on the website. I Googled San Miguel, and I saw a video, and it was beautiful area.
It is a fabulous place. Condé Nast has expressed that it's the top #1 place to go in the world for 2, I think, out of the last 4 years and perhaps more, which has its upsides and its downsides.
Yeah. So is this your first time there?
Oh, no. Actually, we have been coming here since 2017. And actually, we're making a commitment. We just purchased a piece of property, a house here. So this will be home base for part of the year. And it's a very sound decision in terms of talking about culture, because it's a very multicultural city.
Yeah. And are there many Americans there?
There are. Since the 1930s, Americans have been coming here, and they founded the Instituto de Allende, I believe, and a few other organizations that have been in effect since before World War I and immediately afterwards.
And
So
is it it's sort of a club, but is it a social oriented thing?
I would say that the San Miguelenses, the people who live here, have always been very open to other cultures, and they welcomed Americans coming here. So now you have all sorts of people here. You have expats who are residing here permanently. You have part-time expats. You also have a big community of digital nomads who are here for a number of months, perhaps putting their children in school for a year to learn Spanish as a second language. So it's very multilingual and multicultural.
Sounds peaceful.
I would say I like it here because I feel it feels harmonious. Even if people don't speak English, and my Spanish needs to ramp up, they're very helpful. I lost my cell phone the other day, for instance, and everyone I talked to was just so open and willing to assist. And it's a different feeling from other countries I've lived in.
That's really good to hear. That's really interesting, and I frankly look forward to visiting. I've never been there. I've been in different places in Mexico, but not there.
Yes, most people, when you say we're moving to Mexico or establishing a base in Mexico, they think we're going to Puerto Vallarta or Mexico City or somewhere on the beach, on the coasts. But this has been a treasured community because it's 6,500 feet up in the mountains.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it could snow.
It doesn't snow very often, but it does get very cool. We're finding that we have mornings that are in the 30s right now,
Yeah.
and by February it'll be colder.
Yeah, interesting. Wow. So I was on the site, I Googled it, and Wikipedia or somebody, they showed a video from Travel, an older video from Travel and Leisure magazine.
Yes.
And it was just delightful looking.
Yeah. I would say if someone is a digital nomad and they're looking for a place to start their nomadic journey as a remote worker, if you're a professional and you have children that you are taking around the world with you, this is a very sane and interesting place to start, and a very welcoming place to start your journey.
And so what about normal things such as electricity and TV connections? How, I mean, I assume you can pull in CNN International anywhere in the world, but
Yeah. We have the house that we are currently pet and house sitting for. We have a system and it has basically all the channels. We use a Fire Stick. So with that, we have CNN, NBC, we have Netflix, which we use a lot. The only thing that I find that I'm missing is BritBox, which is a British channel that has many, many BBC documentaries and some wonderful theatrical pieces on it. That's the only thing that I would say I am missing here. Everything else is here.
so you could get that though. You could go on to that BBC website,
Yes.
I guess.
No, BritBox is a different version of Netflix.
Oh, I get it. Great, great. So what's a Fire Stick? It's a plug-in?
A Fire Stick is like an Amazon. It's something that allows you to see all the Amazon channels wherever you are. And so it's a remote. And anywhere you go that has access to streaming services, you use this remote and it gets you into Netflix and Hulu and Showtime, all those selections, plus the television stations. So we travel as DigiNomads, we travel with a small Fire Stick. And we ask, before we go somewhere, do you have that service? Because not everyone has it. But you can, it's very common, just as common as in the States almost. And I have to say, we're talking the privileged side of the tracks, not out in the campo.
I get it. Okay, so let's talk about you and your books and like Life in the Camel Lane. That's I was just on your site again and I was looking at that. What a beautiful cover.
Thank you. Thank you. I think this is going to be our 8th country that we've lived in. And so I think I need to start work on Life in the Expatriate Lane.
So each time is different, I'm sure, although similarities. You just roll with the punches and just get up and see what happens the next day, right?
It's not always that easy, Ed. I mean, we have always lived a very intentional, high-powered life. I worked for governments in the diplomatic service, the British diplomatic service, and then I worked for American corporations in the Middle East. Then I moved to the US and met my husband and followed him through his project management oil field guruship career and went back to the Middle East. So there's lots of things that living overseas will challenge you absolutely to the max, and it's not for everyone.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, so let's talk about what you are going to do this weekend.
Oh, that's a very interesting question, actually. I am going to be spending some time tomorrow at a local park nearby where they're having a number of bands come who are contributing to an event which is very local. And the access is to bring 2 toys, and these toys are being given to children out in the campo. There is a humongous level, a huge dissonance, of course, like many countries, between the wealthy and the poor. And in Mexico, that is one of the things that we see. And so we're going to be participating in this local experience of helping the community. We'll be drinking wine and, of course, listening to music at the same time. And following that, we have an experience with our multicultural house and pet sitting community, because there's about 6 other people here.
So can I ask a couple of questions, and you can redirect me if
Go
I'm
ahead.
doing something uncomfortable. Security.
Yes.
Discuss it. Do you feel safe?
I feel very safe. I,
Good.
in some ways, feel safer here than in the US.
Mhm.
I don't believe that people are walking around the streets, possibly having a hidden weapon. And so I feel safer here. Having said that, there are some cities, there's a city nearby where there's tremendous gang violence and a lot of the cartel. And I probably won't go to that city and spend a lot of time there. And when you go to the Costco there, the armed guards are wearing, vests, and they have machine guns, and they are patrolling the aisles inside Costco. That doesn't make me feel very comfortable. So I choose another Costco at a city slightly further away. There's still armed guards outside, but there's not the presence inside. So I think you have to choose your poison in terms of living anywhere and in terms of your comfort level and what you're willing to tolerate in security levels.
Yeah. So the other day I produced a program that talked about security issues in Latin America. And one of our guests was from Sao Paulo.
Yes.
And another was from Rio. And they said that currently, and this is December 17, year 21, gang issues in and around the favelas in Rio has gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
and has spilled over into the downtown. And not so much in the southern suburbs, along the beach there, the beautiful area, but in several other areas. And it's a big problem. Contrary, Sao Paulo, which is 20 million people in a huge area, and 2 million, you won't call them rich, but doing well,
Right.
and living the good life,
Yes.
in business. So there's a huge discrepancy there.
Sure.
However, there's less of a crime problem in Sao Paulo,
Yes.
she said.
Yes, and I would say it really depends on the government has a lot to do with that. And it seems to me that in Mexico, the government is segmenting where it's putting its focus on security. Now, San Miguel is one of the crown jewels of the Mexican economy and the Mexican outward facing sort of the way we look out at the world from San Miguel is we want everyone to come here and everyone to have a good time, and we want everyone to feel welcome. Therefore, in this community, the mayor and the government, security is a huge thing. And I feel like if the cartels start to creep up and become more visible, and they have in 2019, there were a couple killings downtown. When that comes up, then it's stamped down. And I think that governments only have a certain amount of attention and a certain amount of intention. And they place it strategically in geographical areas that make a difference.
Yeah, well, that's cool. So we were, my wife and I, we were in Cabo San Lucas
Uh-huh.
over just before Christmas
Uh-huh.
and this past year. And, at that time, the travel was fairly restricted, but we got through. And there was no crime problem visible at all. And it was good. We were out and about.
Good.
Yeah. So, and I have customers in Mexico City and,
Uh-huh.
in Palenque or Santa Fe area.
Yes.
It's, it's like a world away from
Yes.
2 miles from there, So it's what the world is coming to, because there is increasing discrepancy between those who can make a living and those who don't want to.
This is true. And I think one of the things about this community is that this community has the expats, we're being asked every day at, maybe at 3 traffic lights a day, there's a person in poverty. Train goes through here from South America, from, I think, Guatemala, I think is the next stop. But anyway, there are migrants on those trains and they jump off and then they're left on the train tracks. Many of them have lost limbs. And the expatriate community here is the one that adopts them and pays for medical treatment and hosts them and houses them and does their best. So we're very conscious of the discrepancy of privilege.
So let's change this topic and move on to what your next book might be.
Well, I'm currently writing a book. I haven't finished it yet since the last time I talked to you. Okay, it's called Home Again, Jiggity Jig. And it's about how to recover and renew your sense of adventure after you move back from an expatriate experience.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that briefly. Yeah.
And I think that after that, I'm going to write a book about house and pet sitting and how fun that has been in rewirement for my husband and I to create a sense of purpose and helping people travel.
That's interesting, isn't it? Wow. So in that regard, with pet sitting, is there a trick to making friends with a dog that usually a dog is not particularly friendly at first?
Well, neither of us are dog behavioral specialists, but my husband's sister is. And for the first time in 6 years, we've been doing this on and off and more on in the last 18 months. We had to call her and say, we have a dog who is terrified and will not come out of her room. She is terrified of my husband. And she gave us some tips. Now, we are not dog specialists, so we don't take on assignments with dogs that are a problem or are mean. And that's one of the things that we screen for when we talk to people. So we do a Zoom call like this and we ask to see the animal and we talk to the animal, believe it or not, over Zoom. And we see if he responds to his name. We go like, hi, Choo-Choo, come on, are you there? And you see how responsive the animal is and how friendly he is.
Yeah, right, you could tell.
Yeah. If he wags his tail, good enough.
Yeah, that's really cute. That's really cute. So let's talk about foods in San Miguel.
Yes.
Is there a specialty that you like? Probably more than one. Yeah.
Oh, there are so many specialties. So the other evening, my husband and I celebrated a large anniversary. And I don't have my phone here to show you the pictures, but it was just striking. Right in front of us is this grand parroquia. So we're looking at this ancient building that is less than 200 feet away. with big columns, and it's on a rooftop. We have the most beautiful rooftop restaurants here. And many of them are fusion restaurants. So they're bridging Mexican food with another nationality's food. This one is named one of the top restaurants in the world sometimes that we went to, and the name of that one was Quince. But there are probably about 10 worldwide really classic restaurants with good food here in San Miguel at reasonable prices. Our meal was less than $100.
Wow, that's good.
And we had wine and drinks, and they brought a plate with happy anniversaire on it, and a big candle that they put in the dessert. And the service was terrific. They had a violinist who had a lit bowl, and he played upbeat music. I mean, I said to my husband, could you just pinch yourself? This is just amazing that you could find this in a community, and for such a happy group of people.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's great.
So there's lots of food. Another place is Baja De Taco. It's a Baja De Taco, I believe, and it's a fish restaurant, and you climb up rickety stairs and round wee corners to get there. And then when you're up on the roof, you can get all kinds of ceviche on flat tacos and wrapped tacos and cooked tacos and every kind of taco. I think they have 18 pages of choices.
Oh my gosh. And you could trust the quality.
Oh, yeah.
Won't get sick.
Yeah, it's flown in, or it's not flown in, it's probably driven in fresh. I think the owner probably has a cousin who works at the coast and in fishing. And so the fish here in the mountains is incredibly fresh.
Isn't that interesting? That is good. So we have a property in Big Bear Lake, 100 miles east of LA, up 7,000 feet.
Yes,
and
I've been there.
Yeah, so it's a business. We rent it out, but occasionally we go up there. I can't wait because they just got the big snow.
Oh, do you ski?
I have for 25 years, but I have not for a few years.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's not skiing, it's getting into the boots.
I understand.
That is the biggest problem. And it's just too much work. You know, they have to invent another kind of boot.
They do. Yeah, they really do need to invent a different system for the mature skier.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, the last time I skied was about 3 years ago. Up there at Big Bear, the peak goes up to 8,900. It's just beautiful. And but we go up there and sit at the bar and watch everybody else have skiing. So
there you go.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I really enjoy having this relationship with you, and I'm very interested to have you back again, and with your new experiences, and just under the umbrella theme of what's it like in,
Yeah. And we will do we'll do some traveling in the local area within about 100 miles for a bit, and then we'll probably take off and go to a beach in, I think, around February. That's our plan. February or March, we'll go to a beach for a bit, and then we will last week we had the first Digital Nomad Week conference online. And so I work from wherever I am, and the remote workers in the global field, I think the people that you're talking to are really, really creating a stout and sustainable community. So I think more and more of us will be traveling and learning and sharing from here on out.
Yeah, I've been working remotely, or not in a physical office, for more than 10 years. And it's good to see a lot of people just getting used to the idea. I think it's great as long as you have high speed. Hi, this is Ed, and I thank you for tuning in to Global TV Talk Show, a unit on globalbusinessnews.net. We broadcast to the world, as you know by now. So I wanted to make sure that you understand that our programs are advertising supported. We're grateful for co-sponsors, advertisers. They have a marketing budget coupled with a strong desire to be associated with our top quality program. And of course, I'm grateful. Thank you. So for the next few minutes, you're going to see some commercials. It's mostly very low key, and our prices are very, very reasonable. Our exposure for the advertisers go 12 months and beyond. Some of our advertisers have been with us since March, April of 2020. And Google Analytics has tracked over 125,000 what they call audience page views, which means you looking at this page, that's a page view. Now, if you happen to go to one of our other shows or to our radio broadcasts or to our newspaper or magazine, those become additional page views as measured by Google Analytics. And so when they say 125,000 since spring of 2020 up through Labor Day, a month ago, that's pretty good numbers. And the past 30 days, Google Analytics has measured just under 6,000 audience page views. And that, according to them, is a 42% increase in audience participation over the month of August. So thank you very much. Well, here's our advertisers, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes or so, and we'll proceed with this interesting conversation. Thank you.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by
The Bridge School, the accredited international online private school of choice, at bridgek12.org.
Porch Light Rental and Destination Services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlightrental.com.
And by airs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at airs.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
And by International Auto Source. We are the vehicle experts for expats, featuring all major brands of automobiles with flexible solutions and financing. On the web at intlauto.com.
Become a global player in your field.
Cross Culture to Go provides virtual support for your global business and career success.
We can help you thrive in 140 plus countries and markets.
On the web at crossculturetogo.com.
Something that's really neat is that the Bridge School partners with various organizations to provide learning for their students. For example, we partner with a major ballet company, and we are able to enroll several of their students into our school. So now not only is the student able to participate in a school and have a seamless transition while they're very active in their ballet career, but now they have other dancers that are with them that are doing some of the same courses. So it's almost becoming a camaraderie where they're taking similar courses, they're working together on their ballet, and really being able to form this great partnership with these organizations to provide a needed service. A lot of times there are student athletes who will spend hours and hours at the gym or at the basketball courts, wherever it is. And if they're attending a traditional school, they're in school from 8 to 3. They get a quick snack, and then they're at the gym for 3 to 4 hours in the evening. Coming to us and having that partnership, they're able to break that up throughout the day. They can have a morning practice, get some schooling in, have an afternoon practice, finish their schooling in the evening. So there's that flexibility. And additionally, if there are tournaments or performances, it's fantastic because if there's a week where they have shows straight through, they can take that week off of learning and then pick back up when they're done. So it offers this great flexibility. And for the program owners of these sports leagues, it is a win-win situation for them because they see this need. They see this need that their students need to make sure that they are obtaining the grades necessary to be successful adults in our country and in other countries. But it provides them an environment where they can be successful at both.
Hi, I'm Sergey Gorbatov.
I'm Angela Lane.
Together we are researchers, writers and practitioners in the field of human resources.
And we've also been multi-country, multi-assignment career expats.
We owe our professional development and growth to a very large extent to the international assignment opportunities that we have had.
But in a world where distributed work may become the norm, we also want to understand what will happen to the nature, duration, and purpose of international assignments.
Together with our colleague, Julian Dalzell from the University of South Carolina, we're undertaking a study on the future of expatriation.
And we'd value your contribution. You can participate in this important study by completing a simple 10-minute questionnaire.
Access the questionnaire by typing in your browser tinyurl.com/expert study. That's tinyurl.com/expert study. You can also find the link here on Ed's website next to this video.
Thank you for joining us in this study. In return for your contribution, we'll provide you with a copy of our research.
And of course, you'll be invited to an exclusive webinar hosted by Ed, where we will share our findings right here on Global Business News.
And so please go to tinyurl.com/expat study. Take the survey so that we can better understand the future of expatriation.
And what do you think about pushback from corporations, etc., Ed?
So a big company, Fortune 500, they're very, very different than anything smaller. And so some of the companies have a trust issue, which is supreme, pain in the neck maybe, but they have their own reasons for wanting people to show up and be seen and to talk with everybody else. And because a company is its people, surely its product, but the smart companies are building teams, building human resources, and you can't do that remotely. Sure, you can get work done, but you're not going to build a team.
Do you think that's the bottom line then?
It's becoming apparent, but not for everybody and not for every company. But anything to do with high finance, a lot of money, important stuff, rather than this is work to be done, this is how to do it, and make contacts, stay in touch, get things done, facilitate projects. This kind of work can be done from anywhere, as long as people are honest and communicative.
Yes.
And maybe in a hybrid way of bringing people in once a month, maybe.
Well, that was my next question, is do you think that the hybrid model works? Because I know that thousands of digital nomads are taking advantage of it, or moving into that space, or really pushing to build some structures so that companies can see the possibilities. But it definitely is a trust issue, and it's also could be a tax issue as well.
Yeah, tax and legal, no doubt. So that has to be some kind of a flat sales tax or something that should, in all honesty, should be implemented. But 5%, who knows what, but just something to contribute, because nothing's free. Everybody has to pay. It doesn't matter whether you're in Mexico or Honduras or California.
Exactly, that's true. It's interesting, I think, what countries like Portugal are doing, where they're actually literally, the government was setting up small villages that were just dying out, and is offering digital nomad visas for 1 year.
That's smart.
And other countries are experimenting with different versions of that, and some are more successful than others. I believe that, unlike Ireland was one of those, because Ireland has a huge number of high-tech companies based in Dublin.
Right.
And my daughter worked for one of them a few years ago in Dublin. And so I think, do you think the governments are really kind of aware? Because it seems to me they're not nimble on their feet. It takes a long time to work through this stuff. And so
they're old-fashioned. Well, not everybody, but many are just old-fashioned, clinging to old ways. They've always done it this way, and blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and but even here in California, which you think is the avant-garde, well, in some areas it is, in some cases, in some organizations, but not universal. So, with that in mind, we need to look at what's going on in the economy. It doesn't matter whether it's in San Miguel or here in San Diego. But in my view, the stratified income tax collection, the tax and the collection, local, regional, national, that's antiquated, because, first of all, there's so much finagling because it's so easy to do that kind of thing. But not that I have experience doing it, it's just that it's just structures and old ways, and what's income and what isn't, and then you have the write-offs. It's nuts. So why not just put value add sales tax on consumption? The people who are privileged or rich, they're gonna spend more. You're gonna go and do things, and so of course you're gonna pay more, because it's just more. People. They're not gonna tax milk or medicines or maybe something else. I don't know. But
medicines are effectively taxed right now, because some of them are just crazy in the US compared to what they are here or in Canada.
Isn't that strange?
And we have NAFTA, which is supposed to I thought it was supposed to clear the way for Mexico, the US, and Canada to function as a better cohesive continent. But that doesn't happen in the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, and in others as well. So it's really strange, and because I've just become a believer in that concept of pay as you go. Look, here in California, with the pandemic, notwithstanding the federal government handout, which of course came in handy for a lot of people and businesses, but and it was actually the smartest thing to do, looking back on 08, 09, when everybody didn't know what to do, including the geniuses on Wall Street, and people got hurt, and industries got hurt, but this time, with some of the same people involved, and of course newer people at the Fed, they figured it out. Just
Mhm.
give people money. Stop playing games, you know? The
Mhm.
idea is to put money in circulation rather
Yeah.
than take it out of circulation
Yes.
and deal with the problems later. We know how to deal with those problems. We don't know how to deal with everything stopped and people going nuts. And
Right.
so let's extend that thinking now into a general sales tax of who knows what,
Yes.
but just on whatever people spend other than on essentials. And the governments are going to take in so much more cash flow
Yeah.
without the administrative hassles.
So I know that you talk to a lot of people in the globally mobile lifestyle.
Yeah.
Are you hearing from that community that there are some good ideas or any progress being made on this?
No.
Oh, that's a disappointing answer.
I know. They haven't talked to me about any solutions.
Yeah,
but
well,
but I would certainly like to ask smart people who are smarter than me, for their 2 cents. Not that I need 2 cents, but I just need new ideas for.
you're
So
full of ideas, and you hear ideas every day of the week. I'm sure it's you are a collection of ideas.
so I'm giving back. There we go. The whole world is watching. So so when you wrote the book Life in the Camel Lane, I'm fixating on that because I've got a good friend via Zoom. We've never met in person, but she's an expat wife in Saudi
Yes.
for like 12 years or so.
Uh-huh.
They've got 2 or 3 more years to go. And you're an older version of,
Uh-oh.
you know, well, I mean, that's how it
Yeah,
is.
I get
But
it.
so your experience, I mean, this young lady is getting used to
Yes.
being in that environment, well taken care of, but it's a limiting thing. But and you guys, you and your husband, have graduated out and came out on top, and you know, and you're doers. You're still doers. You're doing things.
We
You know,
are
and you
creative.
use the experience to do even more new things.
Yes, we do. We don't believe in retirement. We believe in rewirement.
Oh, that's a good one.
We do-
That's your book cover, isn't it? That's
Well,
the new title.
unfortunately, somebody else wrote that book and trademarked it, so I can't use it. It's
Uh,
really, and I've been talking about this for a long time, but you know, unless you're seeking to be tired, you really cannot retire.
yeah.
And I think that rewirement is a way to keep your brain, your mind, your heart, and your whole experience of life. I wrote a piece yesterday about, I was asked to write a piece of time. Now is the time. And I wrote about, you know, that my transition from being based in the US back to overseas again. And it's such a big transition, and it's helping people through these transitions. It really turns me on, and that's where we really like to help people, because you can get stuck in transition.
So I want to suggest just another idea. So somebody has taken, it's not retiring, it's rewiring or something
Yeah,
like
from
that.
retirement to rewirement. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So look up synonyms.
Yes.
And, you know, have a think about it and maybe come up with a whole new phrase.
That one's so catchy.
Yeah, really.
But
So-
yeah.
So the deals that you make, I'm not interested in diving into private information, but the deals that you make to arrange something like what you're doing now, house sitting, pet sitting, and you know, it looks like a very nice home. So how do you do that? Is it like a home exchange thing, but with more legal entanglements?
No, less legal entanglements, zero legal entanglements.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so fun. The whole thing is becoming part of a new economy called the trust economy.
Trust. I'm going to write this down.
The trust economy is a thing, and it is built on the idea that there are platforms, and there are probably 12, 20 platforms online where they're like dating sites. So you have a host. We started as hosts. We started as people who needed someone to come and take care of our pets. So in our rewirement, we could go travel. So we had someone in our house, maybe we had 5 sets of house sitters. One of them was a previous ambassador to the New Zealand embassy in Washington. And I looked at them and I went, you had a fabulous career and you're still traveling, and this is how you're doing it. And you're building friendships, you're building a network, you're growing community, you're traveling, but you're doing it slowly. So I call it slow mads. Instead of a nomad, we're a slow mad. Sometime I'd love to talk to you about that whole thing about slow mads, because I think that that's going to be a good book.
That is really interesting.
Yeah. So you have a platform. So you have a dating site for hosts who have a home and pets, and they want you for either just the security. Sometimes there's no pets, but most of the time we like them with pets. And to take care of the dog. And the dog I'm taking care of is sitting right beside me right now, listening to every word. And we always interview people by Zoom, and we ask, and I've done some little videos recently. I've done 10 2-minute videos on how to get into house sitting. So I will be putting them up eventually. I will be putting them up online shortly.
Good. Let me know.
I will. Do you want me to share them with you? I will.
Yeah. And do you want me to just look at it myself and not broadcast them?
Oh, you can do whatever you will with them. But I mean, if you might enjoy this, you might enjoy trying it, but you might enjoy talking about it or inviting people into the process.
Well, we did, Joanna and I did home exchanges around 10, 15 years ago.
Yes.
And we've made friends, and we're still friendly with that family I'm thinking about.
Yeah, definitely. So there are people that want to do it for just a week or a weekend, and there are people who do it permanently. And so what happens is you just kind of create, it's about creating your own lifestyle. I am a certified coach. And so I'm a big fan of creating the lifestyle that you want to live into. And many people can do this in the house sitting community, especially in expat communities like Portugal, Spain, New Zealand, Australia, the UK. This, I think, originated in the UK.
It's so interesting speaking with you again, Doreen. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So you have a good day, and let's stay in touch.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks. This is Ed in San Diego, and that's Doreen in San Miguel de Allende. Cool. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.